Before we begin talking about the idea of inverse functions, we first want to talk about one-to-one functions. And before we even get into that, we want to review what we mean by the concept of a function. So, a function just means that for every input, or generally for every x value that we plug in, that unique x value is paired with a unique y value, or a unique output. So every time we plug in x, we should get one and only one y value being output. A one-to-one function is a specific type of function where every output, meaning every y value, is paired with a unique input. So a unique x value. In example 1, we're given a relation, or the first thing we want to do is determine if that relation is a function, and then if it's a one-to-one function. We can first check that it's a function by noticing that no x values are repeated. If we don't have a repeated x value, then every x value is paired with a unique y value. So we can say that yes, this is a function. The next question is whether it's one-to-one. Now what we want to look for are repeated y values. In this case, a value of y equals 9 is repeated, and when it's repeated, it's paired with two different x values. So while this is a function, we would say that no, it's not one-to-one. In example 2, we're asked the same questions. Our x values aren't repeated, so we don't have an x value paired with more than one y value. So in this case, yes, this is a function. And in this case, our y values aren't repeated, meaning we don't have a y coordinate paired with more than one x coordinate. So we would also say that yes, this function is one-to-one. Essentially what we're doing is just adding another definition or another case to the idea of what a function is. Meaning we can identify something as a function and then either as a one-to-one or not a one-to-one function. If we're looking at the graph of a function, we can apply this same idea to determine whether or not this is one-to-one by considering something called the horizontal line test. Hopefully we all remember the vertical line test, which was a tool for determining if a graph is the graph of a function. We draw vertical lines and make sure we only intersect the graph once. Here what we do is draw horizontal lines and check to see if we intersect our graph twice, or really just more than once. In this case with the first graph, it's easy to draw a horizontal line that intersects our graph twice, meaning this function is not one-to-one. If we were to call this first x value a and the second x value b, this means that we have the coordinate points a, 5 and b, 5 occurring. So we have two different we have the same y value paired with more than one x value. So we do have a function, but not that one-to-one relationship. With the graph on the right, we can draw horizontal lines wherever we want. And each of those horizontal lines will only intersect the graph of our function at one specific point. So in this case, we would say that this function is, yes, also a one-to-one function.